me with children, not in this tribe. Sometimes their concerns are genuine. Like now, my good friends who are Luos, I have most of my close friends are Luos, and I speak a little bit Luo. And you'll find they have some cultures. Of course, those cultures are dying, like wealth inheritance, and there is what we call terogorwingeo. Yes. And you'll find when a person dies, cats, dogs, and everything will come to the road to escort what? The dead. Normally. And when a person sees that somebody is going to get married to a Luo, or my son is going to get married there, says no. Some even fear kisses. They say that we are what? Witches. Let me tell you, in kissing about witches, I'm a kissy, but I'm not a witch. You know, when you say that all Yani Kikuyus love money, it's a general statement. Does all Kikuyus love money? Yes. Ask your neighbor, really? Now, let me tell you this. I have traveled in Kenya almost all corners except northeastern. When you go to Kisii at night, I hear the witches have a motorcycle who has outlet for what? It is called what? An hyena. They use it to, they ride at night to go to their meeting. Have you ever seen the way a hyena is? How can, you know, the devil gives people power to tell you such things and they keep them in the house. If you go to South Nyanza, I'm told the moose can tame a crocodile. Now wanapanda juu ya crocodile kama meli, and they go to the other side for their witchcraft. If you go to coast, listen. If you go to coast, watu wanakaa juu ya hotel. Do you know hotel? They say magical words na hotel inawabeba juu inawafanya nini? There is a tribe, I don't want to mention it, which is of no problem. It is not. It is not. Mijikenda. You'll find that when the drought is there for a long time, they will sacrifice the mother or the parent of the person who has been married to that place. I went to Kikuyu Land. It's only I've forgotten the name. We found very many learned men who were mad. We were told, hapa mtu akisoma afike university anarogwa. Wakajiuliza, hata Wakikuyu wanafanya nini? Wanarogwa. And they told us, mnaona hizi nyumba zimejengwa zote hapa hivi, hawa ni wanunuzi. Wenyeji wamefanya nini? Wamefaraka. Every community has some kind of witchcraft, and our parents have genuine reasons sometimes to say, what? No. Yesterday I was telling you about two Luos who are fighting. They are the same ones. And you see, if these two Luos, one was coming, I don't know, from Homa Bay, another one from, I don't know, Oyugi, something like that. And you see, unasikia anakuambia, sisi kikwetu tunasema hivi, and sisi kikwetu tunasema hivi. So are you not all Luos? What is Kikwenu now? Where is Kikwenu coming from? If two Luos can differ because of their cultures, what about two tribes? Am I talking to somebody? Are you thinking along with me? Now listen to the advice I can give you. I was talking to one of you. He told me, when he was getting out of home, he's a Kikuyu. He was told, don't get married to a Luo. Listen. Those are parents. When he came to this university, Luos are nice ladies. And he wondered, you know, our parents are so tribalistic. Now, this is the advice I will give you concerning about tribes. Let your mother be close to the ladies, let your fathers be close. Okay, it is always opposite, isn't it? Listen, sit down and talk to your parents. Tell them, Mommy, Daddy, you know Kimathi University is in Central. Is it in Central? Yes. In that place, it is not meant for Kikuyus alone. It's a cosmopolitan area, and my eyes may end up falling on anybody. Do you have any prejudice against any tribe? If he tells you, get married to any community but not Kamas, or Kisses, or Lus, or Kikuyus, whatever, even if an angel comes from that line, just say to God, spare me. Let me tell you, it is not a pastor will tell you, fine, I'll unite you, there is no problem. But let me tell you, when you will get a problem in your marriage and you call your mother, the first response will be, Sinilikukataza. But I know this generation that is growing, we are going to overcome tribalism. Amen? Amen. You know, even my kids, they don't know all Kikisi. And they are in Kisi. Because they have gone schools, Kiswahili, English, they don't know Kikisi. We hatuko na wao sana. So when they grow, imagine, cultures are fading away. And so this generation that is coming, perhaps in future, we will not have what? We'll have no tribalism. And I've always said that my daughter is growing up. I don't mind even if she brings me a Kikuyu, a Turukana, whatever, as long as that person is what? A Christian, a believer. I'm done with tribalism. But before I move on, if you are dating a person who is not your tribe, as your father and mother know, it is good that you take a break and talk to your parents. Listen now, even in Kisi, we have what you call Kambanane. 8 families, they believe they came from what? One who? Father. Ancestor. We are not supposed to get married. You come here to campus, this is a Kisi, this is a Kisi. You begin to date. When you go home, you are asked, who is your father? Blah, blah, blah. You are asked, where are you taking your cousin? Even you can find a Kikuyu here. And by the way, one father came and told me, "Nimrod, when you talk to the youths, tell them this. Sometimes when we tell them, don't marry from that family, you may find that we had messed and we gave birth on the other side. Now they are dating sisters. Sometimes listen to them. Am I talking to somebody? Yes. Kuna wengine hapa hivi wape wakivimeza, akona mtoto Nyanza, akona mtoto Central, akona mtoto Coast. Siku moja utaletewa mtoto wako. That is it. Listen to what the Bible says. One more verse before we move to the next thing. 1 John chapter 2, verse 11. 1 John chapter 2, verse 11. The Bible says, but he that hated his brothers is in kindness. There are some parents who just hate what? Other tribes. Tell them that they are in what? And walketh not in darkness, and knoweth not whither he goeth, because that darkness had blinded his eyes. One day, I met a Kisi. Both of them were doctors in Moi Refer School of Medicine. Akisi and Alo. So I was counseling them. I asked them, have you talked concerning about your cultures? Yes. Have you talked about the languages? They asked me, what do you mean? I began to talk with that man in Kikisi. So the lady floated. She became suspicious. I told her, that is what I mean. Do you know when you get married, when you get married to a man, you also get married to the community? Imagine you have been married to a home where the mother does not know well Kiswahili. So to force the mother to talk with the son in what? The native language, and you float. I tell you, you will not be at what? This. Especially when you see they are laughing, you're like, are they talking about me? Discuss that. There are small things that can make a marriage fail. Let's move to the next thing, age and time. Let me ask the question here. This beautiful lady, what's your name? Sorry? Brandy. Wow. Question. Which course are you doing? Yes. BBIT. Now, when you came to this campus and you knew you were doing BBIT, did you know how many years you're taking? How many? 4. Those who are in a relationship, did you ever agree how many years? You have entered into a school, you don't know if it is 4, if it is 2, if it is 1, if it is 6 months. There is this lady who wrote a message to a pastor. Pastor, I've been dating this man for the last 9 years. Listen, time is going. I want you to listen. And she said the man is a Muslim. He has never taken me to their home. I don't know even any of their relatives. Should I continue with this man? Pastor said, wait a minute. Let me reframe the question. Should I continue wasting time with this man? And then Pastor asks, people who have been married for the last 9 years, wako na watoto wenye wako standard what? 3, 4? And you're still talking about what? Dating? Now, I wish kuna mwenye ameweka whiteboard marker yenye lecturer amesahau. Unajua tunasahau saa zingine hapo. Kuna mmoja. Yes, as he brings it to me. My brothers. Tito. Now, please tomorrow and on Saturday, this is what we're going to do. Let me tell you, for example, this is a man. Let's just say this is a man or a lady. It is very hard for you to deal with such a person. The best thing that you can do is to break this man into pieces in your mind, or this lady into pieces, and begin to deal. Is he a believer? That is why we say, as we are 8,000 students, how many SDs are in this school? Let's say 300. You subtract 300 from here. Umepiga wangapi nje? 7,000 what? You are nearing to 1, isn't it? But still it's a journey. It's a journey. And when we will reach school courtship. I don't know, like tomorrow I'll begin on courtship and what we are supposed to do in courtship. One of the things, as you have agreed you are beginning a relationship, agree how many years. If it is 2 years, again draw something like that. In these 2 years, have your semesters. By the end of 3 months, have we made a step ahead? Or we have made a step what? Behind. Don't move to the next segment until what you agreed has done what? Has been done. You keep a man on check, you keep a lady on what? On check. I'll tell you the activities that we'll be doing in courtship. Somebody was telling me, if you remove sex from courtship, what will you offer? I'll tell you what you'll offer tomorrow. So you enter into a relationship, you don't know the number of years. For example, Sister White says, one of my favorite writers, this is what she says as I explained. Adventist Home, page 79, paragraph 2. Paragraph, is it 2 or 3? 3. It says like this. No, okay, this is another one, but it is from Testimonies to Sexual Behavior, and so you know that book, TSB, page 19, paragraph 3. It says this: long engagement is not wise. Read there, you'll find it. Why long engagement is not wise. Listen, if you are dating a person in this campus, there is a possibility every day you are meeting. And the more you meet, you tell one another, I love you, I miss you. The closer you are moving. And imagine your first years. When you have moved so closely, the only thing that has remained, because you cannot get married, it is sex. Once you do it, even the morale of marriage and all the promises go. A person can leave you. And so what we are saying is that if you are dating a person in this campus, take 6 months or 1 year at most. 6 months or 1 year at most. I see people in this campus walking, holding hands. I told you, I don't see married men and women holding hands while walking. Because in marriage, it's more than holding what? Hands. There is communication, there is sex, there is in-laws, there is money and all that. It's more than that. Let me tell you, when you walk with somebody's daughter, holding her on the waist, supposed to meet the dad. Hiyo siku utajua ufanye nini. That is it. If you are dating in this campus, 6 months, 1 year, or you are putting yourself into a risk of fornication. And remember, we are watching things like movies, soap operas, pornography, which are acting as a catalyst of us even moving closer. If you are dating a person outside this campus, KU, Masinde Muliro, 1 year, 1.5 years, 2 years at most. Long courtship is discouraged. Why am I saying, if you are not ready to court, be friends? Because when you court, when you date, there are some things which you tell that person which you cannot tell a general friend. Things that will act as a catalyst. I was counseling a couple several years ago, and they were coming at the end. They were coming for the last counsel. This man came and told me, I'm going to see pastor. I asked when. Brian Odhiambo is needed outside right now. So I was I asked him this question. When are you going for counseling to Nairobi? He was in Kisii. To see pastor for your last counseling before you get married. This is what he told me. Nimrod, when I am so attracted to my fiancée, they had remained 1 month to their marriage. I'm so attracted to my fiancée, when I see her like this, mwili unachemka. I feel I should just take hold of her, carry her, and forget about the marriage. I understood because they had grown so closely, the only thing that was remaining between them is sex. So I asked him, how will you go to Nairobi? He told me, their girlfriend was working in Kisumu, the fiancé. So I'll leave Kisii and go to Kisumu. We'll take one vehicle, matatu, to Nairobi. Then after counseling session, both of us will come to Kisumu, and then I'll come to Kisii. I told him no. If the distance between the two of you, is 50 kilometers, in quotes, because you cannot be able to do what? If it is 50 kilometers, you go and sit together in the same vehicle to Nairobi, you'll be laughing, you'll be talking, you'll find your hand has held her, you hold one another tightly. By the time you reach Nairobi, the distance will have done what? Reduced. In between is what? Sex. You see the way she answers questions when pastor is counseling you. He sees the way you answer questions when pastor is answering. I say that, wow, I have an intelligent man. You're moving closer. When you come together again back to Kisumu, by the time you reach Kisumu, you hug one another, maybe a peck. You have reached a distance is remaining like what? Like that. I told him, explain to your fiancée, let her take a vehicle from Kisumu to Nairobi, and you take a vehicle from Kisii to Nairobi. Thank God they heard me. Listen, you have begun a relationship in first year. You have 5 more years in this campus. For men, they want at least 2 years or even 3 to settle down before they marry. 5 years plus 3. You have not included if there is a strike will be there, or if again Corona will come, and all that. Maximally put 7 to 8 years. Are you ready to court for 8 years? Is that courtship or marriage? Ask your neighbor like that.
That courtship or marriage?
That is what the book of Luke asks us. Which is this man begins to build before he sits down and does what? Calculates. Are there men and women who have begun projects and they have not calculated? Some campuses, they take diploma students and degree students, and you'll find a man doing degree, a man doing diploma, a lady doing what? Degree. I'll talk about it. Maybe I'll combine it with education. And then you find, as he finishes, he's going back to school, the lady has finished. And then I tell the lady, you have to wait for a man for 2 years, and then give the man 2 more years or even 3 for him to settle. Will you wait outside here for 5 years for this man? What? No. My brothers and sisters, sit down. Love is not stupid. Love is not unreasonable. Love reasons. Don't think about sex only and hugging one another and saying goodbye. good night, I miss you. If I eat, the food does not fall in the stomach. Where does it go? When I think of you, I don't eat. If I eat, the food does not fall where? Ask your neighbor where. Ask your neighbor, ulisikia wapi? Okay. You know, ladies like those sweet nothings. I call them sweet nothings. That's what you like. You will be told you look like an angel, even if you don't have what? Wings. And you feel happy. Come back to the reality. Am I talking to somebody? Now, concerning about age, let me tell you, a man ought to be older than what? A lady. Why? Because ladies mature faster in body and in mind than men. Angalia tatu kwenu. Upate firstborn na secondborn, they are men. Thirdborn ni msichana. Utapata anaosha nyumba, ameanza kuosha vyombo, wao wanarusha nguo hapo hivyo. Yani you know, so that is the reality. And you find that, by the way, you find that the lastborn ni msichana, lakini amegrow. When you see the firstborn mvulana, you may think that the lastborn is your firstborn. They mature faster in body and in mind. So I have seen people who are dating ladies who are older than them. This is a reality. And you'll find they have matured so much. So in the house when you are there, the woman will reason more than you. And you are supposed to be the head of the house. If she reasons more than you, if you have 2 children, you become the third what? Tell your neighbor, umesikia? Listen, ladies mature faster. And let me tell you this, men like walking with young ladies. Imagine if you have matured faster because you married a younger man. You have matured, you look older than him. Mkienda town, mzee anatangulia mbele. Let me tell you, this is a true story. This is a true story. This lady told me, Nimrod, when I was in campus, I was so well, so small, slender. My waist, I could wear trousers of 28. I gave birth. My body began to do what? To swell. My husband began to tell me, kwani unashindana na nguruwe kukula? Akaendelea kusema tu vitu kama mchezo. Mimi nafikiria ni mchezo. Kidogo mtoto wa pili. But then I looked at the lady, she's big. The man left her. He's married to another woman. He said, yani hata sitakangi kukuona. And by the way, when they used to go to the supermarket, anatangulia naenda haraka, alafu akishaingia kwa supermarket anamwambia chagua vitu. Anachagua, anakuja, analipa, anaenda. Anamwambia kwenda nyumbani. Let me tell you, my brothers, you need to hear these testimonies so that you may go slow. Tell your neighbor, go slow.